people, Asian Mac, and I'm back, of course, with another episode of It Was Written the Project on this beautiful, beautiful day. I say that every week. I almost didn't say that just now because I didn't want to jinx myself, because I've been like so desperate for like sun and like decent weather lately that I've already acted prematurely twice. Starting out an episode in nice, decent weather, I would say no day has been as beautiful as this day. Decent weather, ending up in the bathroom with the worst lighting ever with the pie face. I do believe, however, that I'm good today. The sun is supposed to be out all day today, so we will see. So before I get started with this episode, you guys already know I have to ask that if you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so, as well as hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time a new video is uploaded. I would love to see you guys here every single Wednesday. Don't come for me. Do not come for me, you guys, because I'm trying. I swear I'm trying. I mentioned in the, not the previous episode, but like a couple of episodes prior, that wasn't even an episode really, that was more so me saying sorry I suck. But I mentioned how I'm trying to like get back into my flow, my swing of things, following my... Are you done? Following my transition back home. As of late, my videos have been coming out late, a day late, like late Thursday night, and you know, I'm just not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. I want to stay committed to the commitment, you feel me? So that is every single Wednesday. Be here. I'm gonna be ready. So as you guys know, or as I just mentioned, rather, I am back home, back in Michigan, Detroit. Was in New York previously for 6 months, and I thought that it would just be super fitting to do an episode about home. I entitled this episode Home Again for a very specific reason, which I'll get into shortly. But in the meantime, welcome you guys to episode 12. Cheers. So this is actually a story that I was very reluctant to share, because it does shine a light on some of my insecurities, some of the things that I'm currently dealing with, struggling with even. And you know, when this project first started, when it was just like an idea, I said that I wasn't going to talk about anything that was happening in real time, only the things that I've since gained healing from or understanding from, the things that I've learned from, you know, because nobody wants their insecurities highlighted. Yo, and I've been talking to myself the past few days, like, girl, if you don't take your, go back to 2015, just go back to 2015, you know, you've gained so much self-awareness since then. Those things are easy to talk about because that's not who you are or where you are anymore. But I had to very gently remind myself of why I'm here and why I started this in the first place, started this channel, started this project, which is to inspire, motivate, and be a blessing to others. And nothing has changed as far as my why is concerned. Still a big reason, a big part of the reason, you know, of why I share my story is so others may see a piece of themselves in it and know that they're not alone. Hopefully find healing, inspiration, empowerment, maybe even be bold enough to share their own story. Pay it forward. Help the next person who may need your story, because you really never know. And honestly, that person may just be me today. You know, when you've never been through something before, or you feel like, you know, you're going through something or dealing with something for too long, it feels like it's just you. You know, it feels like it's just us. It feels like that season of your life is never gonna end. But not true. That's just not true. And that's really a lot of the reason why I feel sharing our story is so vital. It's so necessary. If I can be honest, like I said, I'm not fully comfortable sharing my story today because, you know, a story is just so much better when the underdog comes out on top, when the guy gets the girl, when, you know, the struggle ends in victory. Nobody wants to hear just about the struggle. Like, nobody wants to tell just about the struggle. It's like, did you win or no? But, you know, that's where the beauty lies. The struggle is where the beauty lies. And I know that from, my past struggles, those 2015 struggles. So this is new for sure. I ain't never just talked about the struggle before. Dog, that beat just scared the crap out of me. I've never just talked about the struggle before, but life experiences taught me that the beauty is in the struggle. So I embrace it, and I have the expectation that I'm gonna come out on top. But let's be real. How many of us can actually see the beauty when we're going through it? Not typically myself, but again, that's why our stories, our testimonies are so important, because it gives others hope to see beyond, what we can see, to see beyond what's right in front of us. In other words, when our faith is on E. So if anything I say today resonates with you, especially if you have seen victory on the other side, share your story in the comments below. Drop some inspiration, drop some encouragement, because I haven't seen the beauty part in this story yet. I can use it. Hopefully you guys had an opportunity to check out episode 2. That was 10 episodes ago, so hopefully you guys had a chance to check that out. That one is entitled Rest. And I spoke about how I considered myself a wanderer, self-proclaimed, but nomad is probably a better word for it. So a person with nomadic behavior, or who is nomadic, is typically a person who wanders. It's a person who has no permanent home. They kind of move from place to place. They're not settled. I'm laughing in my head because I made that yikes face when I said nomad. I'm pretty sure I made a similar face in episode 2, because it does affect me. See, this is a mistake. I can't talk about this. Just kidding. Word that I've self-proclaimed for quite some time now. So your third word is the word that we use after I am. For example, my name is Asia and I am a wanderer. Wow, this is already questionable. But yes, I do consider myself a wanderer, and see, I knew it. I knew I made that face. That was actually my official first video, because the one before that was just an introduction to the project in the channel, and I had recorded the 2 on the same day. I just changed my hair and my shirt, and then I went on the opposite side of the bar for a change of scenery. But yeah, I specifically remember recording that, and just kind of thinking you're really gonna say that? You know what I mean? Only God can judge you, huh? But obviously something I'm not proud of. You can see it's something I'm not proud of, and as mentioned in that video, it's something that I've struggled with for a little minute now. But it wasn't until I would say March 2018 that it really started to get to me. It really started to affect me, because I started feeling okay, why doesn't God want me to have a home? Yes, absolutely, I do, or I have moved around a lot, and I've never been afraid to. I've never been afraid to just get up and go, whether it be to challenge myself or because a sacrifice needs to be made. I've done both quite a few times. But I will say this, my reasoning for moving the way that I do is not because I'm a crazy person or I'm an unstable person. I'm just all over the place, though it may seem that way. It's actually because I desire more, so much more. The moves have typically been a leap, a questioning of, if I don't, then this is it. This is life. No, no. Let me at least go out and see what's up. My desire is so strong. I've always had a strong desire, but kind of lacked and understanding of self and purpose, to the point where, I felt like I physically had to like go out and find it, which such a move can sometimes transform your whole life in reverse and be the opposite of what you set out for, which that really reminds me of Proverbs, I believe it's 16:9, that basically says like we can make our own plans, but the Lord directs our steps, which basically says, go ahead with your little plans, go make your plans, I have the final say, which I feel in my entire spirit, because it has been a tiring journey of, trying to find my own way, when ultimately all I've ever wanted was to be home. And by home, I don't necessarily mean Detroit or Michigan. Even though I was born and raised here, Detroit hasn't truly felt like home to me since between like 2011, 2013, to be honest. And if we go back actually to that video, I actually defined what home means to me. I was like quoting Luther and everything. Resting in who I am, my true identity, resting in what I'm doing, my purpose, and resting in where I'm going, which is home at the end of the day, literally and figuratively. When it comes down to it, I want to end my day and I want to end my journey, where my heart is, where love is, where I'm free, where there's joy, where there's peace, in a resting place. And to me, that equates to home. And Luther already explained the difference between a house and a home for anyone that's confused. Yo, that just might be one of my favorite episodes. I feel like I articulated those thoughts and feelings very well for it to be my first time. And my hair was looking like a bomb. I said my hair was looking like the bomb. You see this? And this. A house is not a home. I have lived in some houses, you guys. I am just being honest. Luther knew. Luther, you knew. I had to get up real quick. My knees. But I wanted to share this entry with you guys. I wrote this in 2018. This is when I left New York the first time to come home again. So there, I'm pretty much just tired because I am so desperately in search of home. And, when I think of home, I think of a resting place where there's peace, quiet, and serenity. And that's where some of my friends have gone. If you don't know what happened just there, it's all good. I'm being funny, but that's pretty much verbatim what I said. Oh, and like purpose, a sense of purpose, clarity in who I am, what I'm doing, and where I'm going. That equates to home to me, where I so desperately want to be and want it to be. Was definitely trying to make New York home for the longest time. I think because of all the time I put in it, the struggle, the testing, it was pretty much like, oh no, like I have to get something out of this. Like this all can't just be in vain. It took me almost 4 years to figure out that, well, not figure out, rather accept, because I always knew, but to accept that New York was not home and it was never going to be home for me. Put a lot of heart in that city and got nothing in return. Was definitely in New York much longer than I should have been. And I actually shouldn't say I got nothing out of it. I got a lot of lessons for sure, and I made some great friends. But I didn't get out of it, what I expected. Nothing that I put in came back to me, no return on investment, pretty much. That's what I should say, as opposed to I got nothing out of it. I got nothing that I expected to get out of it. And that is the truth, yeah, God had his own plan. All the reason why I am home again. You know what I mean? Again. Home again. And I'm just really tired of being home again, going home again. I just want to be home. You know what I mean? Not again, just home, like I never left. But haven't been home in a really long time. So funny story, never forget this. About 6 or 7 months into being in New York, living in New York, I was dating this guy in 2015. And he was very aware of like my struggle in that area. And I ended up moving to an apartment after getting out of this like really raunchy, living situation. And when I was there, he would ask me all the time, you know, where are you? And I would say Sexton, which was the street that I lived on. So whenever he would, call or text me, where you at? Sexton. Where you going? Sexton. Where you coming from? Sexton. And he finally asked me one day, why do you always say Sexton? Why don't you ever just say, I'm at home? You know, I think he thought, considering the situation I just came out of, I should be, no. Be clear, Sexton is not home for me. Sexton is not my home. There's no peace here. There's no love here. There's no joy here. There's no serenity here. You know what I mean? It's cool for what it is. Don't get me wrong. I adapt. I adapt. Have you ever known anyone like that can just adapt everywhere they go? I mean, I thought about this the other day, like how great or not so great, bad of a quality or characteristic this actually is. I go to New York in September for 6 months. Day 2, I'm back like I never left. I come back to Michigan, and it's like I was never even in New York. I literally feel like I've been here this entire time. That is how unattached I am. That is wild, is it not? That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you spot a nomad, a wanderer. This has absolutely been one of those seasons for me. One of those seasons that feels like, you know, it's never gonna end. I feel like I've wandered so much that like my spiritual GPS is just as lost. All I hear is rerouting. Like, girl, maybe if you stop moving, I can figure this out. I can get you where you need to be. So I did that. I stopped. I powered down and I powered back on. As soon as I got home again, I did that. And this is actually the most at home I felt in a very long time. My spirit is charged, my faith is charged, my mind is clear. Spiritually, I'm at home for sure, no question. Now that I'm powered back on, I'm in a position to transform and move naturally as well. You know, like my spiritual GPS got me covered. And I'll explain to you guys next week exactly what I mean by that. To be honest, quarantine and social distancing has actually been such a blessing for me. I do not plan on coming out of this the same. I can't. Legitimately, there's no way that I can. It's because of all of this that spiritually I've been able to plant 2 feet on the ground again. And I am home again for the last time. And my sights are set on just being home. Finally. Definitely plan on staying put this time around. No more wandering for your girl. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me for episode 12. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you know someone that this can be a blessing to, be sure to share it. Comment below if you've been here before. If you're currently here, I want to hear all your stories. Continue to embrace vulnerability. Continue to share your story. Thank you for all your love. Thank you for all your support. I'll be here next week. I will see you guys then.